So look, guys, I'm about to go grab Baloo. Hunter's right here. Hunter is going to answer some questions from someone that is not so well versed in the dog space. And Jamarcus behind him. I'm going to turn the camera on him as well. Here's the thing. When people get into the dog space, here's the truth. 9 out of 10 people don't know what's going on. And you've got a few of us who've been doing it so long, we know exactly how to deal with things. So I'm going to break down Baloo. I'm going to break down Eco. I'm going to break down Tron. And then we got some pictures I'll break down another time on why or how to breed. I've been getting a ton of messages, and if I'm being honest, for one, like, subscribe, and share any of this stuff. I don't know how to deal with it. Specific to, hey, can I breed this dog? Can I? Somebody asked me last night, they messaged me say, how do you breed a Pitsky? Or can you teach me how to breed a Pitsky? I said, what is a Pitsky? And he said a pit bull and a husky. I'm like, I got the sister and the brother. I'm like, I don't even know how to answer this. Like, what are we talking about? It's not a breed. What do you mean, breed a Pitsky? So Hunter, tell him everything you don't know about dogs, specific to the American Bully, and then everything you do know, because he's got more, I think, what, shepherd education.
That's a broad ass goddamn question.
Do your best. Do your best. I'm grabbing Baloo.
I mean, shit. Everything I know is because of Trevor. I mean, that's a broad question, Trevor.
From a business angle, if you was gonna get a dog today, you never bred, you never understood the business, what would you tell somebody? And then what have you learned from Baloo in the process? Because a lot comes with it, for one.
Are we basing out of Baloo with this question?
All of them. Kind of where it starts. Like, hey.
I mean, first of all, I would have never bought Baloo. Baloo can't do nothing. Baloo's not an athletic pocket, but he's more athletic than most people's pockets in the exotic space. I'm not a fan of them dogs. I grew up. There you go, Bubba's. I grew up with German Shepherds. My dad, let him go pee first.
I got you.
Grew up with German Shepherds, Rottweilers. We had some labs. You know, my uncles, they use labs as hunting dogs and stuff. So I mean, my first dog by myself was a blue-nosed pig. So I would have never bought Baloo. I mean, maybe later on in the game, Baloo is a cool-looking dog. They look cool, but they can't do nothing. I need a dog that can go run with me, go outside and run for a period of time, do something, have fun. Baloo ain't finna go fetch. Baloo does very little stuff in the backyard, especially if you have somebody like Flex or Titan out there playing with something, then Baloo kind of gets persuaded to go try it too as well. But Baloo is not toy-driven, he's dog-driven, so he's going to harass the other dogs during the process. But on a business aspect, never would have bought Baloo first. You got to know what you're doing. As Trevor says, you got to know what you're doing with this stuff, man. It is science behind all this breeding stuff. Just what, a pit husky somebody just asked you about?
Pit husky, bro. I mean, it's a real life thing. I mean, I can't find all the messages, people. I kid you not. And when I say these things, I just recorded a message of a guy. People, I think, message people when you have a certain number on the couch to see if they can reply back.
Definitely. That's
the first thing. They're like, oh, shit, you actually saying something smart? I didn't think you was going to say nothing. Man, look. And then they're like, they might ask even a good question, but they don't even care about the question. They just want to know if I would reply back. But yeah, it was a pit ski. I even called Ruben. I said, Ruben. And I don't record a lot of those conversations because it's very honest. I said, Ruben, can you believe somebody? He says, oh, God. Oh, God. So, but listen to what he's saying though, because now for one, let's go back to another step business. Him and I probably talked about dogs for 4 years. He's a great team player. You know what a team player is? Someone who uplifts people. So when you start figuring out what dogs get, how to work with people, how to build your whole thing, you got to have a guy like him who's willing to learn. And that's the only reason why we've been successful. So when I told him, I said, hey, I got to start bringing everybody to the forefront. I mean, I just read something. You guys watch a lot of bulky built things from this weekend. I just saw Chris, man. I tell you, Chris, you very rarely ever hear me use the word proud. But when I say I just left Chris, and that joker is doing some things. He just shouted out, for instance, a guy named Robert Lee. Those who know Bistro's one of those dogs in the American Bully that's been there foundationally for a long time. He's a difference maker. They built something called the Bully Something, and it's one of the biggest influence, if you would, on the Bully. But I mean, this is bulky built. Chris Moore's page. I said you got to do at least once a day, and he was just saying, sorry, I've not done this in a while. Today I'd like to give a huge shout out, the one and only Robert, the Bully Market. So shout out to the Bully Market. I don't know Robert, to be clear. I did shoot a little bit of his brother in the Cali show. They brought their bully out, and I was there the first show they came back to. which was at James's show, Feltus show in whatchamacallit. So he said, you really want to get somebody on? Let's go up here and talk to Robert. Because we was there 20 years ago when it started. So long story short, I'm reading this because I'm proud of Chris. Chris is a guy who's like a nutcracker. You gotta hit that nut a couple times. Chris, come on, you gotta do this, man. When I found them all, I told him, Ruben, I said, hey, I understand you guys like to be silent. No one say nothing. You don't have a choice. I don't really provide options. It's like, this is what you got to do. But he said, I have the most respect for the vision in his dogs. Focus on the branding and is mind-blowing. After spending a weekend with their branding pro, I have a newfound respect for the message Robert always tries to get other breeders to see. See that right there? He's honoring someone else who's interested in helping other people do what? Be successful. That's the part that everybody gets confused in the whole space. I got to have this. No, I got to help this person. That's why we're doing this. He said, in my eyes, branding and marketing might be harder than the dog side of this business. We often get in our own way, but this message about branding has been very clear and to the point. His consistency on this topic has made us Bulldog's lifestyle. We focus on branding, its significance. Thank you for all that you do for our community. That's him making a full post about someone else and how they've impacted him. Because Robert called Chris quick when he's got a question. And you know what Chris does every time? Answer. Because that's what you're supposed to do when you help people. So Hunter, I said, you know what? This guy's been very interested in the dog space. Man has foundation and understanding of business. He understands the work. What are some things that you learned from Baloo and work through while trying to figure out how to deal with this respectfully useless dog?
Patience. A lot of people think this dog game is quick money.
Moving faster than you know more. Look, he'll never. He got some pep in his step today, people. I ain't seen that got a pep in a while. Back legs is rocking.
A lot of people think this dog money's quick money. Like I do tell Trev, during COVID, people did hit on them Frenchies, man.
Man.
We just had a talk the other night. He sent me a post. The prices are dropping on some of them stud fees. It's like they're giving them away for free. Might be a holiday special. I don't know. I don't know where you're going. Come here. But with Baloo, man, it's definitely a patience. It's definitely a science. A lot of people are just breed dogs to make a quick bag, which, it's expensive. What? For Zara and Maya, we just spent, $9,000 to hopefully have 2 litters?
It's a lot.
They're not even confirmed yet, so we're hoping for that, and that's a big bag right there. Some of y'all don't even make 9,000 in a couple months.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to do that. And then a lot of y'all don't even breed to better the dog. Like Trevor sits here and breaks down all the times the weaknesses of Baloo. We took him to a better female to make his weaknesses strengths. Now you see Bam Bam and Cha Cha. Now I'm sure he's gonna take Bam Bam to a good female and even make it better. That is the point of this, not just to have a dog bust a nut and sell some puppies and make a quick little bag. And you gotta understand, you gotta compare what you're bringing in, what your overhead is of everything. It has to make sense with the numbers on the business side. If you're running a true business, like I said, just because you see somebody on Instagram, a lot of people don't post their losses. They do not post your losses, so you think everybody's winning on everything, and it's not true. As you can see, Trevor posts everything on the business account. Everything's 100%. He don't bite his tongue. Y'all know that. He shows y'all the receipts on how much we spend on food. Man, what we spend on food is probably what somebody brings in their household income.
I spent 2 racks last month on 4 dogs, and even more importantly, you see me holding the things up where I'm like, this is what it costs to go to the vet. Hunter paid for Tronstein. That was a couple bands. You look when his stomach got cut. You look at Baloo, the upkeep on Baloo, praying that he stays alive. Baloo's dad died at 5. A lot of bullies right now are losing their lives at 5. So then imagine being patient like we're being, and then he died. So that's $7,000 and some change, because that's what he costs off rip. I said 7 bands. I shot one thing. People say, hey, how do you make money? I walk out the door, for instance, I'm going to go shoot this big influencer on the 18th, and I know that because she messaged me. And so I'll take that money and we're gonna buy a side and get the house situated. So that's just a quick 500 for 30, like a less than 1 minute video. So I'll take that, boom, already going. I already know where it's going. As soon as I get it, boom, go get the grass, order the grass stuff. Let's lay the stuff out for the side of the house while we continue to build this stuff out. But I love foundationally his take on business. And number one thing that I think is important when you're building a team even is patience. You know how hard it is for people to be patient? how hard it is for people to spend $1 and be like, yo, I need my money back. You know the old comedians be like, boy, lend the black brother $5, he'd be on your porch by 3 o'clock that night. Hey man, I was just wondering if you had my money, man. You like, but take your stanky $5 back. I don't want no trouble. We're gonna break down Baloo. We're gonna talk a little bit about some things that, again, I want you to hear his perspective. Baloo started with Jamarcus. Matter of fact, here, give me the camera. So Jamarcus actually, I played chess with Jamarcus for 2 years, and I put this dude here in his hands, and he had no clue what was going on. And mind you, over the past 2 years, Jamarcus has just realized what's happening. It took 2 years for him to realize what's actually happening, and I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago where he realized, dang. This is actually starting to make sense. Yep. So talk about your time with Baloo, what you learned in dealing with him, and how much patience was required, because you couldn't even use food to motivate this dog. And we're talking about when he was a puppy. Every puppy wants to eat. Baloo's like, nope.
I mean, I literally had to starve him one night. Like, I had to starve him out completely just to get his attention. And I mean, just like he said, patience, man. It taught me to slow down. I'm one of those, I'm go, and then be missing steps along the way. But these dogs have taught me patience. Nala's taught me a lot of patience. And now even having Tut, Baloo's son, and working with him, even more patience. And now I'm seeing all the things that I missed with Nala even. And all the things I even missed with doing Baloo on some methods and some things I could have changed and done differently with him to get him a little more motivated. But patience definitely, just slowing down.
And mind you, let me be very clear, Jamarcus, at the time, him and his associate gave me about $3,500, and within 9 out of 10 times, people don't make their money back that quick. Yeah. I walked in the house, gave him $6,000 back within, I'd say, 90 days. Yeah. And to be the first litter. So let me be very clear and saying, here, let me paint a picture like this. So because I'm not even concerned about the money, I come in, I took care of Zara for 2 years. Somebody say, that's all my money. I told him, hey, y'all whelp this and do this and that. I'll give you this much back. So guess what? I turned around after taking 2.5, almost 2 years, do a breeding, get it right. I could have paid him $800 tops to watch the dogs over the, and matter of fact, charged to experience. But I came in and gave him some money right off top because I wanted them to be invested, and they still didn't get it. Just to be clear, they still, I'm like, y'all not understanding how big this space could be if you do the work.
Yeah.
And mind you, that was 2 years ago. Now fast forward 2 years, because he's 2, he just now getting it 3 or 4 weeks ago. But Jamarcus's roots are in care if you know how to guide it, and he could do the work. Challenge is just getting him to see the opportunity. There's a challenge. So Hunter saw the opportunity. Hunter don't blow him up. At the time, before I was staying here, he didn't blow it. He wasn't asking for a bunch of stuff. They enjoy Baloo. And that's the thing, finding people that can complement all the dogs, but even more importantly, giving them opportunity to learn. So, like he said, most people wouldn't breed Baloo. I know how to breed Baloo. And so people say, hey, somebody asked me last night, hey, when you do another breeding with Baloo? I said, never. I said, but if you're interested, reach out to the homie, because he'll stud Baloo out. This is our co-own, but this is the Hunter's dog. That's the gist of it. That's the gist of it, people. You don't get caught up in the semantics. Everybody early on, I got it, man. I gotta save and get all this money. And I'm gonna say this, and some people not gonna like. We know how y'all black folks are. That's just the truth. Y'all get a couple of, y'all think y'all spend some money. I gotta go. I know how to go get money. So if I ran the numbers, let's say I spent 7 on Baloo, Jamarcus watched him, Hunter's watched him. I could be like, oh, nobody gets no money back until I study him out and get my money. I'm like, I told him, hey, study him out. It's all you. I said, anything you find. If somebody, I said, I don't even want the money. Take it. I'm good. We got what we need. Baloo's gonna live a good life regardless. He's gonna enjoy whatever time he has left or on this earth in general. But if it's about the money, you'll never make a difference. And if you make a difference, you'll make the utmost money. We're not growing because we're concerned with the money. The money's gonna come. It really is. I know for a fact it is. And it's already, we're like at the, you know how like Drake said in the song, I'm 24 hours from greatness, I'm that close. We're very close to making a big difference. And my job is to align everybody so that we're standing together. I used to train teams. If you can get 100 kids, which I would have to do, 100 kids to line up on that line and everybody had the same intent, that program will win. And guess what China Mission East did back? They went 13-0. That's it. They went 13-0. Everybody understood the importance of not getting through the line, but finishing through my line. You got to go through some things to change things. And Baloo's one of the dogs who going to put you through some stuff.
And definitely with every dog you get, man, it's a learning experience. Thank God me and Jamarcus have Trevor as our mentor.
Bro.
Anytime I have a question, I go to him. If he don't know it, he goes to Chris and all. And like, we got a team, and that's the blessing on it. But every dog's a learning experience, man. I got Baloo when he was in a puppy, so you could definitely see Jamarcus. Well, I guess it was a puppy when you had him.
He was barely a year.
So barely a year. So it's just like you really get to teach. Y'all look at Bam Bam, Cha Cha, Ego. Trevor had them when they were yay high. So everything Trevor's saying, he's doing from the jump. Nobody touches the puppy for the first 3, 4,
almost 6 months.
6 months.
I go through phases. Yeah.
We Bam Bam. I still don't even mess with Bam Bam, Cha Cha like that, just because I know what he's creating with them. Go in there, pet him, but get away, just because they got to know who their head alpha is.
And I just did a video a second ago when the puppies are all biting on each other, doing this and that. I could tell Ego to drop it. There's a lot of people. I get a lot of behavioral questions. My dogs are fighting. The only person they're going to have to fight is me. And we don't want to get in a fight with me. So we understand each other early on. And it's not because, get off. No, I'm like, we're talking. And I take stuff out of them. I tell them to sit. So when I tell them to drop and they look for a second, Ego only takes a half a second because he's like, well, Tron's going to get it. But Tron's like, nah, I ain't going to get it. He said drop it. That means don't nobody touch it. If I walk off, then Ego will pick it back up because Tron will submit to Ego. And Ego will walk up and take it out of his mouth. And you don't see two dogs do like this. I'm not having it. And the hardest dog to manage is Czar. Because if she wants something, that's it. Everybody move. Get back. So you really have to be in charge of your dog. But that's a whole other thing. Today, we're going to walk you through a couple of our dogs. We're going to talk a little about Baloo. I want you to understand, because people say, can't I breed this dog? I'm not the police. I'm not the police, people. I'll be honest and say I don't care what you do. That's the truth. Is it bad? Yes. Let me tell you why it's bad. Because people are like, yo, my German Shepherd got to my pit. Jamarcus was on a call with one of the dogs we actually sold. And Trev, it happened. The thing you told me not to do, it happened. He put 2 big dogs in the same cage. When I say big dogs, a puppy female and a puppy male, left them in a big cage together and didn't expect them to get pregnant. I go, my man, I told you to get them separate cages almost a year ago. Well, I'm here now. What do I do? They got to start off telling me the truth that I told them what not to do. So the challenge isn't when people are breeding so much. It's the fact that people are not breeding with intent, or you're leaving your dog unattended. That unattended nonsense, man, my girl's on lockdown. Czar's not even here. Most of the females, they go somewhere else when it's time or when they're dealing with gestation. Gestation just means their pregnancy. If they're in heat, they go somewhere else. When we build our facilities, the females, they're not going to be in cages and crates, but when it's time for them to go through their thing, they'll be in a whole area so that nobody can get to them. Because everything has to take its time. We have to take our time. But when you look at Baloo, you say, hey, what did Baloo have that made him unique? I'm going to show you something. Because this is the American Bully today. It's a bulldog, and that's all it is. It's an English bulldog. Look at this. Doesn't that look like an American Bully? So a pit bull with a bulldog, it's a pit bull on a bulldog's body. That's all it is. I told you I don't want to breed that. And you see the nose set. So you see how, look at the bullies who are popular. They got that right here, and then their cheeks drop. It's because they're using an English bulldog. I don't want to breed more bulldogs. It encourages soft palates, long palates, elongated palates, poor breathing, bad hips, cherry eye, all skin. Skin issue. You go down the line. Entropia could become a thing. And you have to get surgery when it's entropia, and that's when the basically the third eyelid, in a sense, is causing varices. So you see that leakage right here, all that crust that builds up. I told Chris, I said, man, I got to do it for education, bro. He's like, no, you can't shoot that dog. Yeah, what it was, and mind you, it's just a bulldog thing. Can you breed it out? Yes. Is it congenital? I haven't read it in the book to be clear. But when I looked at Baloo, on the top part of his pedigree, Dax had 2 inbred daughters. So what that means is, long term, all the pups have 6.25% of Dax. Somebody say Dax or Gotti line. Look, I understand one dog, one line. That's a Fabian quote. But I said, okay, so all the pups in this, which proved to be true, look the same. There's one dog who look a little different, but I think he's going to come out just okay. So we had 7 pups out of 7. Every dog looks the same. You know why? Because they inbred too tight, to be clear. But they did. So if I took him to a complete outcross, what should I get? Both corrections. People say, well, why would you breed poor shoulders? Chris loves breeding the Old English Bulldog for the purposes that you can mix everything with it. So when the shoulders get too forward, he brings in the American Bulldog, because what the American Bulldog has is upright shoulders where they sit back. When the back is this, or the hips, he adds this to it. He adds all these components to continue to better his program. So because we know now what's in the American Bully, as I did a video on that, you go, how do we pull the good stuff out? And he looks super close to what a bully should look like. Meaning like the face, right? And then we have a dog again that I put as my profile pictures 10 years ago. And I've showed him many times on this because he's one of the inspirations, to say the least. And what we want to create. Find this book real quick. Oh, this is dog's folder. Wrong folder. It's in my favorites. Tron's in that one. Look at that there.
Even in the garage.
Yeah, he can't, because he's Tron's nosy. He's like a nosy woman. He just want to know what's going on.
You hear somebody out here talking
hey, man,
about
what y'all doing, man? Come on, man. Let me out.
out.
He be jumping on the door. He go be in the chair. You come back. He go land in the pillows of bed. That's why you got to leave Tron in the case. I'm like, just Tron, I can't deal with you right now, man. He's like a nosy woman. Hey, man, where you going? To the bathroom. What are you doing? What are you eating? He like, look, if you don't quit talking to me, if you don't quit talking to me. Oh, man, come on, bring Baloo over here, man. Hunter, is there anything else that you think they should know when getting involved outside of you getting some weight on you?
Man, boy, I'm sore. What, anything they need to know before
Yeah,
you
just
what are you doing, Bubba?
Just getting involved. You know, you've now gotten to the space. You have a business mentality as well, but you understand the work. I like your point of view because it's honest. That's the whole point of this, people.
So when you invest money, know you can take L's. So if you really need that money, don't invest it. I look at dogs as my stocks. I tried to take a stock class. I went to one class, never went back because I don't have the patience for that. But I have the patience for dogs because you actually get to enjoy where your money went. Like you said, Baloo could typically be an L for anybody, depending on what you got the dog for. But you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta have a good mentor. If you do follow people in this industry, you gotta follow people that are knowledgeable in it. Not everybody on social media is knowledgeable in this stuff, man. I go look at pages all the time, and it's, oh, we accept TVs, cars, anything for a dog. Come get a puppy. We're finna make room for more litters. And I'm just like, if you can't sell this litter, what makes you think you finna sell the next litter?
What them jokers are turning into rent center.
And you gotta be careful who you co-own dogs with, because like you said, people are gonna hold the papers. They won't give you the papers. Say you do a good litter, a good breeding, and then a good litter comes and you need the paper to get to that person, and they're just like, well, I'm not giving you that. What am I getting out of this? So it's like, if you're just in this for the money, man, dogs is not the thing to do.
Yeah, and keep in mind, crypto taught us all that. For all you crypto knights out there, everybody was like, well, get in crypto right now, boom, boom. You bought Shiba Inu such and such. You turn around, guess what happened? Guess what happened, people? Them crypto people showing silent now because it felt like a get rich quick scheme, and now the scheme is over.
Yeah, can't fall for everything you see. And I know a lot of people buying dogs right now or want a dog. It costs to play, Bubba.
And I think that's the hardest part for me to communicate, is because, again, we put up hopefully a lot of quality stuff to teach you as much as I can. But at the end of the day, I can't tell you how to breed or what to breed or what to do. I know how to breed a pedigree. I know how to breed the dog. I know how to solve the dog's issue. I know how to combine the DNA. They call it blood, but the DNA. How do I make a better dog? For me, it's not super complicated. For Chris, it's not super complicated. For Ruben, he could tell you down to the bone. He'd be like, oh, that's just such and such bone. You go, knows this kind of stuff.
It's complicated to me.
and I get it. And it's more complicated than I think people presume, which is why they're in this debacle. Because when you look at, you're watching real quick. He's talking to a teacher, sir.
Well, you see here. Well, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I just love dogs, man. Have a great time with dogs. Play with dogs. They're great company. I've been a single man the majority of my life, so dogs have always been my companionship. Look at him, he just loves it. You want some more food, huh? That's what you want. No, he's finna teach you something.
So we look at, I told what we call, we was gonna look at angulation, which is huge.
You know one's right there.
I gotta find that book though.
There you go.
Oh, matter of fact, short neck prohibits range of motion, which makes the shoulders straight. So his shoulders are straight. See, they're down here. And that's in this particular section. This book is called Structure and Action, the Making of a Durable Dog. So when I said, hey, I wanted to create one of the best dogs on earth, the most athletic, competitive, pit bull, bully looking dog possible. And I don't want no bullies. Like I said, we're getting away from the bully. I had to get all the books. Even when you look at this right here, it talks about zygomatic arch. Them cheeks that you see on this dog encourage and gives it a good bite. Furthermore, jaw strength is affected by the angle around the zygomatic arch, the cheekbone. The flatter the arch, the less strength there is in the jaw. You got to read all these things. Well, you don't have to. I do. So I can apply the knowledge. So when we look at Baloo, see that roach in his back. Well, he's got narrow hips. Where does that come from? That bulldog that's back there. See where his shoulders are at. The shoulders are sitting forward. His neck's too short. And what you don't understand either is a lot of times the circumference of his head is actually how long his neck is. So when you get a longer neck, you actually run into back problems because just like a tree, if a tree grew and it had a huge bush at the end, it would snap in half because it's too top heavy. He top heavy. Good old Baloo, I tell you.
Grandpa made you like these, huh?
I'm trying to find this thing, this actual thing that shows you the shoulders and how steep they're supposed to be. Most of the times, too, food for thought, your dog should fit in a box. Chris actually showed you that square he used. We did a full episode on that, to analyzing his puppies and putting them in the box with the little checkered area.
You talking about on that cover?
Yeah, that thing was brilliant.
Well, you can tell also with him, he's not comfortable stacking. Every time you move his leg, he moves it back. It's uncomfortable.
Because he doesn't have good hocks either.
Right.
Matter of fact, this is a good one. So look, this right here is actually very simple. You see where his shoulders should be? So his shoulders should sit here so his feet can fall right under him.
Yeah.
Instead, the angulation is slightly forward. I know that's probably not going to make sense to people, but I can see it. I can see it, which means how do I fix it? I bring a dog like Zara who's got shoulders that sit straight up. And if you get one dog out of there that solves the problem, you go boom. So why would I breed Baloo? For one, in his pedigree, they concentrated on a look, to be clear. For two, he's got great muscle. And Chris Moore said, you know, Dax had that muscle gene. Problem with muscle restricts, right? You don't think of no bodybuilders. They got every muscle in an anatomy chart, and they got good range of motion. Every now and then you see a dude like Ronnie Coleman, I think Flex Wheeler back in the day used to hit the splits, and you say, whoo, I don't know how he doing that.
Sure.
I didn't.
Ty Green right now.
Oh, Ty Green, another one that can hit these splits in the sense, but they never did go all the way. They'd be like right there, make a perfect triangle, but they never hit the splits like them chicks. But at anywho, muscle creates restriction, so he's got the muscle genes per se. One of his dogs has crazy muscle, and it was just a puppy. So you pull out, adding by subtracting all the good stuff. We got rid of this. We wanted to build a better rear, which we did. We took some of the shoulder. He's got good fronts, tight feet. He's had them since he was a puppy. He's got a good stop. Chris told us in one video that there's actually 3 parts to the head, and his bulldogs are proof. So when they create pit monsters, or in this case, more American bullies, one of the things that defines all of us. I said, Chris, why do you keep talking about the head, the head, the head? Because how does somebody know you're you? Because of how you look. So if you don't have the face down pat, then it gets confusing, right? And then the other part that can get confusing is how do you better the dog? So if I was going to tell you 3 things to be mindful of when choosing to breed a dog, for one, I asked myself, how do we identify our dog's performance? So you already see Bam Bam climbing the fence, right? He's 4 months old and he's already thinking about how to be more active. He's not super active. He's never going to be. That's not his thing. So I added activity in there. Another thing I would think of is, can I better the breed? Have I read my standard? Do I know what my standard is? I don't personally like the standard, so I wrote our own because the brand is bigger than what you guys are doing in American Bully. And if you understand that, think about bossy dogs. I know people don't always like a bossy dog, but at the end of the day, she for 10 years, and definitely over the last 3 to 5, she's sold dogs between $20,000 and $35,000, period. And people have bought them. How? Why? Because she has a brand. She has a brand. She keep 2 dogs for a year. Some of y'all, I'm going to sell it for less. She keep it for longer, the price goes up. And I know that because one of the dogs she didn't like sold to the UK for about 100 and some change. Because it was so-and-so's son. And I ain't going to put, I mean, again, it's out there. People know. But my point is when you establish a brand, and the brand has value to people, then you can, for one, sell dogs for a fair price, but you got to do the work. We're 3 to 4 or 5 years in. I'm 5 years in now, and the team is just now seeing the bigger picture. But we had to let him grow up. We had to let Zara grow up. We had to let Maya grow up. We got to let Bam Bam grow up. I'm so glad Ego's growing up, and Tron's growing up. And Tron just turned a year old. And somebody says, please tell me why you're not going to breed Tron for the next 2 years. I said, I got a lot of work to do with Tron. See, that's the thing. Y'all get a dog and think, I got to breed him right away. If Tron does not come together, and now we're going to breed him to be clear, but if he doesn't come together, there's nothing to breed him to.
And let them also know it takes XLs longer to
grow,
develop.
And that's one thing Chris and I was talking about. That's, I think, the one thing we didn't get to talk about on camera, because he really was going to break down in detail how long it takes for an XL to really manifest, because it happens sometimes in larger American bulldogs. A little bit longer, then all of a sudden, boom, the dog looks like a dog, per se. Tron still looks like a kid. He's only Europe, but believe me, something else is going to change. Another thing's going to change, and then there'll be a final change. You'll be like, oh, wow. Well, he's looking good, and people already like him, so I'm not even going to degrade or down him, because he's coming right along. We got a lot of work to do. But Baloo is a dog that if you gave it to anybody else, or one of those uptight, pretentious breeders, I would never breed that dog. You like this. Stop lying. Y'all didn't breed some dog. I know some people who bred some dogs that built their whole thing, and they make it $1 million a year off dogs that should have literally never been bred due to health concerns, but they couldn't live with the loss. I'm okay taking my losses. What I'm not okay with is not trying. This is a dog who, again, I believe we could better. And guess what? We did. So stay tuned. We're going to break down all the dogs over a course of time. Probably Ego and then Tron. I'm going to talk about all of them in detail. I wanted Hunter in here. I can't thank him enough for participating, being willing to learn, definitely doing the work. Jamarcus for finally figuring it out. and taking good care of Baloo, because I'll be honest, one of my fears, despite the 7,000, that this dog would be dead by 3. His dad died at 4. When Baloo was born, his dad died a few months later. As a matter of fact, he died before Baloo came to me. And that he was 8 weeks old when he got to me. His dad was dead. And he was like, old boy was like, yo, don't tell anybody. They don't want anybody to know. He's no longer with the Centino. I said, I won't tell nobody. Who I'm going to tell? I don't talk to no breeders. I don't like none of them people. I said, I like you, because, you've been doing it for 20 years and we've been rapping or whatnot. But his dad was dead by the time his dad didn't make it to 5. I told you Maya's dad's dead. Detox, dead. Zara's dad's dead. He didn't make it to a good 6. Dead. That's 3 dogs I have that don't come from nowhere. They don't got the same blood or nothing. No same DNA. Dead. Because the American Bully is not being bred to live longer, to live well. We gotta do better, people. So I'm gonna try another video, because I don't even know if the message is clear in this. I don't know how to answer or reply to how should I breed, who should I breed, what should I breed, can I breed this? Boss, you can do whatever you want. I mean, look at this dude's booty. Look at this. Come right here. Look at this. This is a narrow booty. These is not good hips. You can tell. He got to keep his feet under him because of how his hips are shaped.
When he run, his legs.
Yeah. He's got terrible range of motion. He's got no mobility. He's stiff as a brick. Somebody said he looked like a Flintstone. Somebody did DM me and say, my man, you should have named me Flintstone. I said, look, I got to say, I said, bro, my man, that's funny. He said, I was on the money then, huh? Yeah, man, you was on what? That was a good one, because this joker is stiff. I put him in the tire. He was like this. Come on, brother, let me out. I put my head on the back of his neck to help him out. But that joker, Baloo gets a lot of love from people because they like him, man. And he's a good dog. He's not a bad dog. He's got some behaviors we need to fix. But anywho, for now, stay tuned. Take care of your dogs. I keep repeating, surround yourself with good people. Barbara Corcoran, any of the billionaires and people would tell you, the hardest part of any business is finding 3 to 5 people who care as much about the business as you do. And key word was business. Not about the money, about the business. And what does the business require? Work. It requires work. And if the business can be defined, which we defined our business, then we can find some success. Stay tuned. Take care of your dogs, people. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share.